Okay, we'll hop into it. Thanks for being here this morning. So this is our third session of Stories of St. Augustine's. It's a monthly feature where I interview different people about their experiences here at St. Augustine's over the years. And I'm happy to have Emily Fields to hear from this morning. I got to know Emily really 10 years ago when we were on vestry together. Kind of crazy that was 10 years ago.
Really?
Pat was senior warden, and there were some intense years for the church during our 3 years on the vestry.
Yes, definitely.
So than's for being here and agreeing to do this. And again, this is not a test.
I know.
People think they're on the hot seat, but
It's
it's just your stories and your experiences, your thoughts. There's no wrong answer. So I'm curious, what is your earliest memory of St. Augustine's?
Well, we moved here in 1968, so I was only 2 when we first started coming here. I remember church being in here. There was the altar was up here, and we had like little folding chairs and stuff. I can remember my oldest sister got married here, and it seemed like it was like huge, but it really wasn't. You know, this is not a big space, but I felt like, and I was like a flower girl, so it was just kind of crazy. I remember going to the old nursery where the Godly Play is. That was the first nursery because they didn't have this part right here. They just had the parish hall and St. David's Hall, right? Okay. And so I just remember being little doing that. Pat Bureau over there, she was my Sunday school teacher. So she really had a big part. You know, I feel like I've known her. I mean, I have known her all my life, and she really had a big part. I remember she taught us the Lord's Prayer, and we had like this little strip of paper, and we had little things, and it was just really. I've tried to do that with my class since I teach them the Lord's Prayer because that reminds me of then. And I don't know if it was you or somebody. I remember one Christmas Eve we had cupcakes for Jesus because it was his birthday, and that's the first time I realized that Christmas was Jesus' birthday. And so I remember we having a cupcake for that. Like I said, when we moved here, this was being built. My sister was married here. I was 4, so I remember the big church being built. And one thing I really remember is being really muddy and us walking on planks to get to the church. I vaguely remember the first service there. You know, it's like I remember, it was a big hoopla, and I think Father Meade was in the paper for the stained glass and things like that. So, I just remember just always being here, coffee and donuts. Just remember, running around. I was very shy. I know y'all can't believe that, but I was very shy. And I just kind of clung to my mother, didn't really go out a whole lot and do anything. I was never an acolyte because I was too scared to be an acolyte. But just remember coming just all my life. And then probably in the 80s, late 80s and 90s, I was a teenager and a young adult, and I kind of stopped coming. When I was in high school, I did a lot with Young Life, and that was not a good time. Young Life was just kind of, it went everything against what the Episcopal Church is and what I know about the Episcopal Church. No drinking. I mean, I know that's not one thing, but they don't, it's very, I can't describe it. One thing that really made me mad is when my father died, they just said, "Oh, sorry," and just walked on. And I was really hoping that they would help me, and they did. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. But anyway, so I would just come with my mother, who was a faithful member of the church. She was, she's buried out there. She came to the Bible study. She came until she couldn't come anymore. But I remember, and I would just come like Easter and Christmas most of the time with my mother. And then what made me, and I was married here back in the 90s and didn't come to church. He was not a church person, so I didn't come to him. And then I got divorced, and then I started coming a little bit more with Mama, but not a whole lot. And then I started dating Robert, like 4 days after my divorce. But I brought him, and he grew up Baptist, and I brought him to a Christmas Eve Mass. And he did just very, very interesting to him. And he's always been kind of very interested in the, like the history of the Bible, and and he did EFM, and he was very interested in that. And so when he came back, when we left, he's like, I wouldn't mind coming to this church. And I think we were engaged at the time. And he was baptized, confirmed, and got married all in 1 year. Because he was not going to church, and I'm trying to think some of my influences were, first person I ever knew like in the church, and was Father Meade. And I just remember him, just always being there. Just when I took my first communion, he said, "Does anybody want to come up and take communion?" Mom was like, "Yeah, go, go, go." And I was like 7, so it wasn't like anything special. He just taught us what to do. Father Phelps was really dear to my heart. I'll probably start crying. I didn't go to church for a long time, and every time I saw Father Phelps, he hugged me with open arms and never said, "Why aren't you at church?" He was just happy to see me. That's how Christian they were. And then Mama was really, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cry. Right? And my mother was she was a very big influence on me. She was a very good Christian lady, and I just wish that when I was little, I was like, I wish I could be like her when I grow up.
It's fine. Thank you for sharing that.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Your mama is smiling.
Yeah.
You know your hands, you know that.
Her mom was a school teacher too.
Yeah, she was a school
And you're from the
teacher.
school, so.
Thank you.
Right.
I think Pat and Mama inspired me to become a school teacher also. But, like I remember, I felt like I've lost some years, not coming and everything, but now that I've started coming back, with my spiritual life has really, really grown. My favorite Bible verse is Romans 8:31. If God is for us, who can be against us? And I may have not gone to church, but that was always in my heart. I knew that God was with me forever. He was there. I may not have prayed enough. I may not have, come to church, but I knew that He was with me at all times.
There's no shortage of Kleenex.
I got some in my purse too.
Smooth sailing.
My allergies have been really bothering me, so it's carrying with me everywhere.
Yeah.
But it grew stronger and stronger as I got older. And when Robert and I got married, I was older. I was 36 when we got married. And so right soon after that, we decided that we would start a family. And we went through so much. I think we did like 5 inseminations. None of them worked. I had some surgeries and all this stuff, and nothing worked. And we stopped short of doing IVF because it was way too expensive. We already spent $20,000 on it. And so we decided, okay, it was Christmas. We're going to stop. We're going to come back into the new year, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do then. And a couple of days after Christmas, I found out I was pregnant. But I had a hard time staying pregnant. So, but Harriet was the priest at the time, and she really helped me because she would say, "So I'm going to go see my doctor," and she said, "I want you to pray for everybody that's there, not just yourself, but everybody who's in the doctor's office, because they're all going through the same thing we were going through." And but I never felt as much love as I did when we were doing that. I know y'all prayed for me. I could feel it. And it was a trying time, but look, I got Lily now. And she, and I hope that she's going to continue on to do, to feel like I do about the church. I think she does. One of the questions that you had was, did I ever go to any other church?
Well, let me circle back to
I'm
some of the early ones. I'm curious, did your parents grow up Episcopalian?
My mother did. She grew up here in Augusta, and she went to St. Paul's. When we moved here, I think, and my father was Methodist, and he became Episcopalian. when we moved here in 1968, I think they'd been belonged to, I know I was baptized at St. Philip in Atlanta.
That's where I went to preschool.
Okay, yeah. So I was baptized there. And then we moved here, and we lived over on Exeter Road, and I think they just wanted someplace close. And this was starting up, so we moved here and started coming here. So,
And when you first came here, I guess St. Augustine's was, what, 8 years old, something like that?
probably, yeah.
What was the congregation like? Was it kind of small but growing? Was it already sizable at that point?
I don't really remember. I don't think I paid much attention to that. You know, I was little. I just remember coming here and having coffee, and we would come in here, and it was just crowded. I just remember a lot of people there. There were more children. There were people my age, but I was too shy to go and talk to them. But I think it was probably about the same. I've always felt that I was home when I came here. No matter how long I was away, I always felt like it was my home. I mean, I know every inch of this place almost. My favorite place is the chapel downstairs. And my mother was on Altar Guild, and I remember going down there with her and exploring and everything. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's about the same as it is now. I'm glad we're getting new members, and I think it's changed a lot. Because when I was not here in the 80s and 90s and I came back, there were a lot of new people that I didn't have any idea who they were, and become good friends with them.
Okay. I'm curious, you were talking about young life, and I've got sort of parallel when I was in college, getting in some evangelical roots for a while. Was there any Episcopal campus ministry, or was it?
Mm-mm. This was in high school.
Oh, this was in high school.
Yeah,
okay.
this was in high school, and no, it was just that, and it was like they draw you in and say that it's a lot of fun, you know, and it was just not. I was a counselor one time. I thought that that's really what I wanted, but they just kind of my senior year, they just kind of disappointed me. You know, they didn't care about that. My father. I mean, one person asked me, because my parents were divorced, and one of the leaders asked me, well, do you think that you might have been the cause of their divorce? I mean, I'm 16, 17 years old, and they asked me that, and I was just like, I don't think so. You know, I mean, that's what really just made me think, okay, I don't need to do this anymore. You know, they don't care about me, and they kind of looked down on that I was Episcopalian, like it wasn't, you know, that wasn't really the Christian church or something. So
Yeah.
it kind of turned me off. I mean, of course, it turned me off
Yeah.
and asked me
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, during the years when you were kind of less active in the church, was it just the feeling like you didn't connect as much? Did you have sort of like internal questions about all of it?
well, I mean, I always felt that God was with me, but I never. It's just I didn't really care about coming. You know, it just wasn't that big of a deal to me. I could go, you know. It just wasn't. It really didn't. I don't know why I didn't come. I just didn't feel like it. It's really.
I mean, now that you have been coming regularly for many years, what do you think? You know, what are you getting coming regularly that perhaps that you weren't getting when you weren't coming?
Oh, I think it's. I mean, really, the past couple of years is when I've really started looking inside. I mean, I think I was just coming because it was I wanted to, and I loved all the people here. But the last couple of years is really when I've started like having this feeling that, oh, God is with me. I mean, it's really, really become stronger and stronger as I've gotten older. You know, first it was kind of like, I prayed to God, I prayed, whatever. But it's just the last couple of years, I don't know, something's happened and it's made my faith grow a whole lot stronger than it used to be. And I think it's, my friends here have helped me. It's probably since Lily was born is when it started a whole lot, thinking a whole lot more about it. So I know that's not a good answer, but
No, that's a great answer. Yeah.
And one thing I wrote down, and I just want to say that even though there's been a lot of internal and structural changes in the church, one thing that has always been here is faith and loving and home and belonging. Nobody ever made me feel like I didn't belong, you know. You know, people would say, oh, I remember your mother was so wonderful and so sweet, and, you know, and she was so faithful and everything, and that really, I'm looking around to see if anybody knew. I know Pat and John, and, you know, and that's why, I mean, I feel like I have a good legacy, and hopefully I'm living up to her faithfulness is really is what kind of got me thinking.
So we got to know each other on the vestry. Had you been on the vestry before then?
Yes, I had been on the vestry one time before, and it was my first year on the vestry, I think, and I got pregnant, and we went to Canoga, and I was so sick. I had to drive Liz Corley and Betty Williamson with me up to Canoga, and I'm just trying not to throw up. And then I got to tell everybody then. But yeah, so that was my first time in the vestry, and I really didn't do much. You know, I just kind of was a person sitting there. Some of the I think 2 of the Dye brothers were on there, so there wasn't a whole lot of room to talk with them there. And so I've been this past one was my 3rd time on the vestry, and this vestry was really it was difficult. But it made me, it was the first time that I ever really felt like I was part of the vestry and had something to do with the vestry and had an input in the vestry. Before I was just kind of sitting there. Well, except during 10 years ago when we were on it, that was a little bit, but that was a little different. But yes, this past vestry really helped me. I mean, Terry was there and she really helped me a lot with making me not feel so stupid. Some of the things that I did, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm doing this right, but that's just me. But Terry really helped me through that.
Yeah, I guess so your second time in the vestry, 2015, those years, I remember riding to Canoga with you, Amanda Peacock, and Pat was driving, and it was, I feel like it was snowing on us, and it snowed over there, it was really cold.
Yeah, it was cold.
And
yeah.
for me, it was like a crash course in St. Augustine's. The skeletons,
I think
in, the
it was,
skeletons
yes.
in the closet,
I think,
nothing
yeah.
like a 3.5-hour car ride or so.
Yeah.
It was,
What am I doing here?
it was an education. It's like, oh,
They were
boy.
probably like,
Yeah.
y'all probably like, oh, I'm getting out of here
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
That was a
can you
fun.
rescind
Yeah,
your,
that was. I remember that. That was
Yeah.
an interesting time too.
Yeah.
Do you remember driving up there?
yeah.
We were
And it was
just
so
like
cold there. It was
this.
really cold. Yeah. Have you attended, I mean, yeah, just sort of, I guess, church events over the years. Have you attended other churches, either in Augusta or just while traveling?
Well, my best friend growing up, her father was the priest at Woodlawn Methodist Church, and I would go with them on Sunday nights. You know, I'd come here, and then Sunday nights I would go to her. Maybe they'd be some other things, but I just always thought it was. I don't know. I think I'm a snob, because a church Episcopalian snob, because I was like, well, they're not doing it right. I mean, I can remember them doing stuff, and I'm like, that's not right. You know, and I've been to weddings and funerals at different churches. My husband's family, Robert's family, is from up in Virginia, Big Stone Gap, Virginia, kind of in the hills of Virginia, and they are Primitive Baptist. And so I went to his grandmother's funeral, and I was like sitting around going, oh my gosh, what is going on? Because they're just yelling and screaming and preaching, and I mean, I didn't know what they were saying, and I was just sitting there, and Robert's stepfather was introducing me to everybody, and they said, this is Emily, she's a city girl, she doesn't understand what's going on in our church. But so I've only been to a few funerals, unfortunately, a few funerals up there, but I really never went to any church. I think I was just I didn't want to go and explore any other churches, because I think I was just a church snob. I wanted to be Episcopalian. I mean, that's my life, that's what I believe in. So.
Is there a Bible story? You were talking about the Lord's Prayer and learning that and the colors. Is there a Bible story that especially resonates with you?
God, I don't know why you're asking me that. I mean, I don't really have a favorite thing. I mean, you know, you could say Christmas, you know, Jesus being born, Christmas and Easter and stuff, but I'm not really very well versed in the Bible, and I'm starting to do that now. So I can't think of anything right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
That's not a good Christian.
No, it's fine. What in the worship service do you connect with the most, typically?
I think communion. I like the Eucharist and the communion and the whole ritual, and you know what it means and how it makes you feel when you're listening to it. You know, I don't know if I feel like I really am drinking, you know, eating Christ or anything, but it is just very special to me. I love the whole ceremony of it.
And what just sort of in the church year, the Christian year, is there a certain season that you especially connect with?
Well, I love Christmas. I mean, Christmas is my favorite time of the year. I mean, I have my whole house turns into Christmas, but I also have a corner where all my nativities are. You know, I have a funny story about that. Is Liz Corley? We went to her house when my mother and Liz Corley were really good friends, and we were over at her house one day, and Lily was probably maybe 3 or 4, and none of she has several nativities, and Jesus was missing in all of them, and so she asked, "Where's Jesus?" And she's like, "Well, she hasn't been born yet. I mean, he hasn't been born yet, so that's why he's not there." So she went home and she took all the Jesuses out of my nativities. I couldn't find them. I didn't know where she put them. But and then she would say, "Baby Jesus, Mama Jesus, and Daddy Jesus" is what they were called. But yeah, she finally. I mean, not like she was 3 or 4, so she probably forgot where she put them. But we finally did find them.
You did find the
We
stolen
did.
Jesus.
Yeah, we did end up finding them. But I just love the whole season of Christmas and just all the things that are going to. But I also do like Easter, like the week before Easter is very somber, but it's something that you just intake. You know, it's an internal thing that you just go through, and it's just something really. It's real special.
What is your favorite hymn?
I am not. I mean, I like music, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I like a song. I don't know the names of them. So if I hear it, I go, "Oh, I like that one." So I don't know what it is. I don't know which one it is because I don't know the names of them.
I mean, different people connect with different things.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes little things. "Oh, yeah, I like this one," you know. And I thought, well, maybe I should start writing them down because I knew you were going to ask me that, and I forgot. So.
All good.
I do like the doxology, though. That's one fun things that I grew up just knowing.
I have some other questions, but I want to open it up to the floor if others have questions for Emily. Yeah.
I just was going to say, you wrote a book named Finding Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I know that I've just joined Daughters of the King. I just did that, and Molly and Nina gave me, what is it, Jesus Calling, and that's wonderful. That's been a wonderful book. But yeah, I did join Daughters of the King. My mother was a daughter of the King. This is her necklace. We had to go through a bunch of hoops and loops for me to keep it because I didn't know I was supposed to send it back when she died.
You found out, didn't we?
We'll edit that out.
Well, no, we got special permission for me to keep it. So.
Did you have a question?
Two-pronged question. What do you recall really influenced you in Sunday school as you were growing up? What meant something to you? And where is Lily on her faith journey?
Well, like I've said before, Pat Bureau was the one that I really, really mainly remembered being my Sunday school teacher. You know, and
Did you like the Bible verses? Did you like the art?
well, the main thing that I really remember is learning the Lord's Prayer. You know, we had like little pieces of paper and they're on a ribbon. I mean, I don't know, that's just something that really, really sticks to me. Lily, you know, she's done happening and she's, you know, acting like she's been to church, but I think she's kind of like me. She's kind of like trying to find herself right now. And she's like, do we have to go to church? And I'm like, you know, and I feel I don't want to make her come to church if she doesn't want to. So I'm not sure I think she's kind of like me. She's trying to figure out what she wants to do.
She's spreading her wings.
Yeah. So, and I don't want to force her to do.
I just wonder what motivated her age group to either go or not go.
Yeah,
Because she's one of our faithful.
she is.
She's 18,
19.
19.
I know. I don't know, but and she enjoyed the happening and everything. But we never really had a Sunday school for her to go to when she was here. Because there weren't that many kids, so she didn't ever go to Sunday school.
That long ago, we did not have something for her at 5 and 6 years of age.
I don't know. I don't think so. And we haven't had anything. I mean, we did do like vacation Bible school, and she would come to that, but she was really little. But no, there really hasn't been anything. Godly play. By the time Godly play came, she might have done Godly play a little bit with no,
Amy.
no, before that. She was too old when Amy came. Father Haddock's wife. She's the one who brought it. I think what was her name?
Shannon.
Huh?
Shannon.
I think she did she did a little bit with that, and she did, was a doorkeeper for Godly Play when I would do Godly Play. But no, there really wasn't anything that was going on when she was little. Yeah. I mean, unless I'm not thinking, but I really don't think there was anything for her to do. We would have vacation Bible school, but that kind of petered off by the time she got really old enough to, enjoy it, so, but yeah, unfortunately not.
One thing I remember, I'm sure Emily does, because she mentioned pregnancy. Lily is the church baby. I mean, she struggled. She worked hard. We consider her our baby.
Yes, she was. I remember Estelle, she was Stacy Story's mama, Estelle. She was something else, and she came up to me, and she did not like it when babies cried. And I hope Stacy doesn't get offended by this, but I have told her this. And she came up to me when Lily was born, and she goes, "She can cry all she wants to. She's the church's baby." It's like, oh, thank you. I feel so special.
That's good. Does anyone else have a question for Emily? Okay, I'm curious so from your growing up years to then returning as an adult, when you started coming back to church regularly, was it about the same? Had it changed? Was it in a time of flourishing or a time of some struggle?
I mean, it's the service is the same, but I think when I was little, it was just kind of like there, and I didn't pay much attention to it. When I started coming back, I paid a whole lot more attention to what was going on in the service and everything, the readings and stuff. Before I was just kind of there, not really thinking about anything about it.
How do you feel about where we are now, in relation to the time when you came back as an adult? Where do you think we are now?
I think we're heading into a really good direction now, and I feel better about it than I have in a while. I mean, I really think that we're getting the choir back together. We're getting new members, and I think that's what we really need, and I think we're going in a good direction. Better than I've seen in a while. We kind of had a slump for a while, and then, but I think we're coming back up. And thanks to Terry too.
Yep.